my name is Jennifer, and in this reflection, I like to share how I strive to balance both head and heart in my leadership practice. This concept, discussed in Chapter 5 of Richard Daff's Leadership Experience, has deeply influenced the way I approach decision making, team building, and problem solving. I explain the importance of interrogating rational thinking with emotional intelligence, share 2 real-life examples from my experience, and reflect on how I continue to grow in both areas. As a leader, I try to lead with both logic and empathy. I rely on my head to make thoughtful decisions, plan strategically, and analyze student data. At the same time, I rely on my heart to build relationships, offer encouragement, and create a supportive environment. I believe that effective leadership is not just about being right or efficient, it's also about being human. True leadership happens when you can inspire others by making sound decisions and showing that you genuinely care. Richard Daff emphasizes that the idea that great leaders think clearly and feel deeply. This balance is critical in schools and organizations where decisions affect not just outcomes, but people's well-being. Rational thinking helps leaders remain objective and solution-focused. Emotional intelligence, on the other hand, enables us to lead with empathy, build trust, and connect authentically. When these 2 forces are combined, leaders are more equipped to handle complex challenges, motivate teams, and create lasting change. Using logic without empathy can come across as cold or detached, while relying only on emotion can lead to inconsistency. Together, they form the foundation of strong, balanced leadership. One example of this balance in action happened when I noticed a drop in student reading scores. The logical part of me immediately reviewed the assessment data and identified areas for instructional improvement. However, I also sensed that both students and teachers were feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. Instead of pushing harder, I held a meeting to see what were their concerns and how could we help each other. We decided to add brain breaks and give students more choices in the reading materials. The results was an increase in student engagement and eventually higher reading scores. That experience reminded me that data is important, but people's emotional states is just as critical. Another example occurred when 2 teachers on my team had an ongoing conflict that was beginning to affect the morale. My first step was to gather the facts and understand the timeline of the issue. That was the head part of my response, but I knew resolving it would also require emotional intelligence. I met with each teacher individually to let them know that I didn't take sides. I listened actively and validated their feelings. By helping them find common ground in a respectful way, I was able to facilitate a conversation that led to renewed trust and collaboration. If I had focused only on the facts without addressing the emotions, the issue likely would have went on. To continue developing both my analytical and emotional leadership skills, I intentionally practice self-reflection and seek feedback. I analyze student data regularly to guide instruction and school improvement. At the same time, I journal and reflect on my emotional responses to challenges so I can better understand how my mindset and tone impact others. I also use leadership tools to assess my emotional self-awareness and social intelligence. Feedback from my colleagues help me stay grounded and alert to any blind spots. I view leadership as a daily practice of interrogating both head and heart. In conclusion, I believe the strongest leaders are those who think with their heads and lead with their hearts. This balance allows us to connect with others while making sound, ethical decisions. It's not always easy, but striving to lead in this way has helped me grow, build trust, and make a positive difference in my school.